Hello, and welcome to another session of Some Things to Know About Marriage. We're going to continue with part 2 of our lesson on forgiveness. I want to give a quick review. We gave a definition that says it is to stop feeling angry or resentful towards someone for an offense, flaw, or mistake. We got a definition from Scripture that says it is to omit, to send away, to forsake, to lay aside. And we started with an example from my life. About 15 years ago, my wife and I were buying some property, and I made a decision in the course of those negotiations that ended up being a bad decision, and it cost us $5,000. So I needed to be forgiven. That brought up our first point, which was admit. I had to own up to my mistake. I had to own up to what I did. And in a sense, there is something for the forgiver to admit. They have to make a decision on whether or not they're going to forgive this person. The next thing we talked about was the word get. It is necessary to get something from your error. It's helpful if you can learn something from it. There's a saying that says those who forget the past are doomed to repeat it. Not only is it good to get something from it, but to get some help for it. Depending on what it is, it may be a bad habit or something. You may need to get some help for that. That leads us to our next word, which is the word quit. A person will have to quit the behavior that caused the problem in the first place. It's kind of difficult to forgive somebody if they continue to do the same thing over and over and over again. But also, a person will need to quit beating themselves up, quit blaming themselves over and over and over again. After a while, concerning the incident that I mentioned, my attitude was, it's not the first time I made a bad decision, and it won't be the last. Now, that was not one of being defensive or being cocky, because remember, it was after I owned up, after I repented. But I needed to do that to keep myself from being gun shy about making future decisions, because sometimes indecision can mess you up just like a bad decision. And also, the forgiver has to quit something. They have to quit throwing it up in the person's face. They have to quit pushing the rewind button. They have to quit having a remember that time mentality if you're going to move on. The next thing, forget. Forget about it and move on. Now, by forget, I'm not suggesting that you act like it never happened, because depending on what it is, there may be some results or some residual fallout for it. But you have to make up your mind that we're going to move past this. We're going to not keep talking about it over and over and over again. At some point, we have to say, okay, we're going to move past this. There can be a certain toxicity to bitterness and unforgiveness. So not only can it be bad for your relationship, but it can be bad for your health. At some time, you have to decide that I'm going to go forward, and you can't drive forward continuing to look in the rearview mirror. Since that time, my wife and I have made and spent $5,000 many times over. We've gone back to school and received master's and doctorate degrees. We've renewed our wedding vows. There is life after that era. You can go forward. You have to make up your mind that you're going to do that. I want to ask you a question. What do you need to forgive your mate for? What do you need to forgive yourself for? What is it that you need to quit running over and over and over again in your mind so that you can move forward? Well, that's going to do it for us. I hope something was said that blessed you, that helped you, that at least provoked your thinking. I want to ask you to do me a favor. If you would like this on Facebook, that would really help me, give me an idea of how many people are being helped. Also, would you help me help somebody else? Would you repost this to your Facebook friends? And if you're part of a particular group, would you post it on that in that group page also? I'd greatly appreciate it. If you'd like to contact me, I can be reached at dshig@sbcglobal.net. Until next time, you be blessed, and join us again for another session of Some Things to Know About Marriage. God bless you.